Okay, welcome back. We're just learning about the copy command. So what happens if I said copy, I gotta get focus again, copy dot profile to test file 1, okay? Which doesn't exist, right? Test file 1 is not an existing folder. It's just something out there. So what's that gonna do? Well, what they did was it copied the file with a new name. So if I do copy with the second argument being a potential file name, it's going to copy and rename. Cool? But if I do the second argument as a directory, it's just going to copy it into the new location. It is not going to rename it. Okay, makes sense? Okay, cool. There's a really cool thing you can do, except it'll be a little tough for us to do. I guess we can do it, then we can whack it. Well, okay. CP-R means recursively copy everything. I don't really have a good... Well, I got my temp. So I'm going to say CP-R temp, and I want it to go to test. Okay, so this is going to go to my temp folder, okay, and copy everything in the temp folder into my test folder. So if there's files and then folders, it's going to copy them all. Okay, well, I've got some permissions issues. Doggone it. But if I didn't have permissions issues, this would have been a cool thing to do. So -R means recursively copy. Now the -U option is the one we just talked about. The -U options basically says copy things that are newer. All right. So for example, if I was to do this again, -U. Okay. In theory, this is not going to do anything at all because the U says only copy it if it needs to be copied, if it's older or newer. So this is basically going to say, right, nothing to do. So the U option is the cool thing about copying the contents from one folder to another without having to worry about, you know, I don't want to overwrite any of the new files, but I want all the new or things that are missing thing. The example we talked about at the beginning of the chapter. Okay, there's lots and lots and lots of examples. So look at table 4.5 on page 29. It talks about tons and tons of examples of copying files. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to start using what we learned about navigation. I want to copy the password file into my test folder. So I'm going to do copy, but since I'm going up, and I happen to know that it's in etc., I'm going to give it the absolute path. I mean, I could do it another way. Etc. password, and then I want to tell it that I want to go to test. So it's going to go, the machine, I told it the absolute path to get to this guy, and then I told it to put it into a folder. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and descend into that guy one more time, right? Here we are in test. All right, so let's say I want to copy it again. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the remove command. I'm going to remove password, rm password. Okay, I'm going to do that copy again a second time, except this time I want to copy it to the current folder. Well, I guess I could spell out what the current folder is, but isn't there a cool little synonym for the current folder? Instead of using test, because I'm already at test, I can use dot. So dot comes in pretty handy as a synonym for wherever the heck you are, so the machine knows that this is a folder. Cool. And then, ta-da, my password file is back again. Cool beans? Okay. All right. So the move command, which essentially is the same as copy, it just takes away, right? I mean, move and copy are almost the same thing. MV. So I want to move password from where it is to the folder above me. Cool, let's do that. And let's, hey, can I do, from where I am, can I do an ls of the file, the folder above me? Well, sure. -al dot dot. Isn't that the same thing as doing cd dot dot and then just plain old ls -al? Well, of course it is. So there's my password file. Hey, let's move it a second time. Let's move it. Let's continue moving it up. So I'm going to say move password dot dot. What? Permission denied? Well, of course. I don't have permission on the home folder or directory. I only have permissions on the stuff that I have. So sometimes you can copy and move and things, and that's why we tend to, all our demonstrations happen to be in our own home directory where we know we have permissions. Kind of makes sense. There's a gazillion options. Table 4.5 and table 4.7. I already showed you the remove command. There's a couple of removes that are kind of sort of important. Let me get to the test folder one more time. Okay, here's where you're really going to have to be paying attention to your typing. Let's say, for example, that this is like a web page. Let's just pretend, right? Okay. How much got copied? Oh, an awful lot of it got copied. I guess just one file they couldn't copy. That's fine. All right, cool. All right. So let's pretend like this is the web page, and what I wanted to do was remove all my .html files. And so I went in here and I said *.html, right? Cool. And that means go find all the HTML files and whack them. So it looks like I only have, well, I have 2, it looks like. All right? By the way, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to, I probably put those files there for a reason. So just pretend, okay? Pretend. But what happens if you weren't paying attention and you did that? What does that mean? That means remove everything and then remove a file called .html. Holy moly. That pretty much, well, is never what you want. So one of the things you can do before you do something really nasty like that, particularly the remove command, remember I showed you how you can get a sneak preview of what it's going to do? All right? Right? So I'm going to use the echo command, and then I'm going to type in rm*.html. And what it's going to do, it's going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I should have gone to temp. Sorry, let's try that again. It says, okay, here's what we're going to do. And you could look at that and go, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I really wanted that, which has just got 2 files on it. Cool beans? All right, 3 files. So what if I can't count? So the echo command is a cool way of looking at something before you do it. Because if you put a space in there like I did here, and I didn't mean to put a space in there, guess what, guys? There is no undo command. Sorry. There's no trash can. There's no recycle bin. Well, let me rephrase that. At the command line, there is no recycle bin. If you delete something, it is gone. Okay? You can't say, oops, I made a mistake. I want it back. Too bad. Where's your backup? Okay. So I'm going to skip the part about creating symbolic links and hard links. That's just kind of esoteric. So I would recommend you spend an awful lot of time starting on page 34 and just do everything that they do in the book. Kind of get familiar with this thing. I have one more little presentation thing to show you because I will tell you that navigating, the ups and the downs, those things drive people crazy. So I'm going to get back to this guy and go to the other page on this guy. So this is basically a chart that says if I'm currently at index and I want to go to orange, I would have to go down to, if I'm at, so this is from and to. If I'm down here at recipes and I want to go to index HTML, I'll have to go up. If I'm at prices, I'd have to go up. Okay, you might have to just switch back and forth between the two slides to make sense of this. But this is critically important to understand. There's going to be lots of test questions on, okay, when I do a copy, dot, dot, slash, dot, dot, whatever, where's that going to go? Is it going to work? That kind of stuff. Okay. All right, so we've reached the end of this video, and I'll see you guys again in some future video.